This is a great piece that is pretty special. Hi, my name is Nate Krampe, and for over this past year, I've been talking a lot about the management of your personal wealth, and today's no different. Specifically, I want to talk today on the 5 big asset protection planning mistakes and how to avoid them. Let me pull this up here and let's go through some of the key takeaways. So again, we're talking about the 5 big asset protection planning mistakes. Now, key takeaways. Get asset protection strategies in place before you need them. Evaluate and stress test your various types of liability coverages, and then make asset protection planning efforts part of your overall wealth planning strategy. For those of you who want the key takeaways and be done, obviously that's a big part, but I want to spend just a couple minutes here talking about and talking through all the different areas that come up here. So as we look into this, as we dive into some of the details here, this is a pretty universal need for protection, and it's for anyone who is affluent. Now, you may be a corporate executive with substantial net worth, or even a business entrepreneur, or even one that's just high profile in our community. Asset protection is big, and you will want to protect yourself, not just from unjust litigation, but unfortunately, sometimes it's even from divorce as well. Now, today we're actually going to just focus on the litigation side of things here in this article. How do you do asset protection well? If we look at the kinds of things in this key takeaways, you got to put it all in place before something happens, and that's where you can get started. So if you've got a high net worth and you're concerned at all whether you have taken the correct steps, it's worth examining. Now, I don't want to read all of this to you in this article, but what I do want to do is go over some of the high-level details, and let's get started and we can talk about kind of some of the mistakes here. So mistake number 1 right here is that we have starting the asset protection planning after you are aware that you could be sued. So there's a couple things here. The big thing is that we've got to take care of this ahead of time. So you don't want to start this when you're being sued. And if there is something that you need to understand at all, you need to do this prior to litigation. Second mistake, not having enough or the proper liability insurance in place. Now, this is important as well. Now, we've talked about the umbrella policies in the past, and that's a great way to wrap everything together. And it is a rule of thumb, but kind of just bringing up and having enough is going to be vitally important. And what that means is that even up to something like $20 million, it's going to be relatively inexpensive for you to have everything covered through one umbrella policy like that. It's one of those things that you know you need. So take care of yourself first, because this is, again, a mistake that many people make. And the fact is, it's just crazy because it's so cheap. Let's talk about the third thing. Failing to approach the asset protection planning synergistically with your other wealth planning efforts. This really comes down together with the estate planning side of things as well. Now, you can read more about this like I talked about, but there's many different ways to do this. And there's also many different ways, including gifting, that you can have errors. So make sure that you take a look at this. Number 4, not understanding what you did and why you did it. I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of people out there that are marketing asset protection, and that, quite honestly, is actually borderline fraudulent, which is why we call these people exploiters or even predators. It may not be the right thing for you. So it's really important to work with skilled professionals who can look out for your best interests and talk through the reasons why you're going to be doing what you're going to be doing so that you understand. Now that leads into our last mistake, is failing to work with a skilled professional as well. you know you want to work with the best of the best. And we've talked about this before, and we're talking right now about predators and pretenders and exploiters here so that you can avoid them. The best ones will know details about what your high probability risks are that you have, and then help determine the levels of concern that you have for your current asset protection plan. Now, I like to look at this from both sides. Sometimes you can actually take care of things through legal manners and legal structures, and other times you need to transfer the risk to insurances. What I want you to hear, though, is that you do have a next step and an action plan already in place. One thing that you can do from here is set up what you call a stress test. Now, that is an asset protection way of looking at things, stress testing it, making sure, first of all, you know what you own, but then remember to get started today before something happens. So take action. If you would like a copy of this article, please email me your name and your email address, and what I can do then is send out this article to you, and I'd be happy to talk through it a little bit more with you. Take care. Enjoy the outcome of having the stress test done on your protection plan for your wealth, and make it a great day.